Just under a 2-to-1 chip advantage, blinds at 3 and 6,000.
Yeah, these two would be trading places if Gus could manage a double up.
Suited 9-4 for Gus. He has called. 5 tray for Phil.
Gus slips on the button.
Phil checks.
Phil checks.
And Ivy checks. Flop is king 4-8, bottom pair for Gus.
Yeah, big air ball for Phil Ivy.
Phil checks.
Phil checks.
Gus bets 6,000 and Phil quickly folds his hand. So a small pot for Gus Hansen as we send it to Leanne, who's with a victorious Chris Ferguson. Featured table, and no matter who Chris faces, it's going to make for a great Final Four matchup. Suited 9-5 for Gus Hansen. Gus calls.
Hey, why not? 9-4 suited worked a minute ago.
10 deuce, Phil checks. And a big flop for Phil Ivy. A pair of 10s and a flush draw.
10-8-5, all spades.
Well, the flush draw is not what's going to make him as comfortable as flopping top pair. Bottom pair for Gus Hansen, no spade in his hand.
Phil bets 6,000 and Gus puts in a raise, another 6 to 12,000.
This is an exploratory raise, min raise, right after a min bet.
And Phil's going to put Gus all in.
Well, there's Gus's test results. They just came back positive. A lot easier to dump those 5s. Now that he's faced with an Ivy all in, but apparently he's going to take his time to do so. I can't imagine Gus calling.
Now Gus ends up dumping the 5s after all. He folds and Phil takes down the pot to extend his lead.
Folds, Phil takes the pot.
That was a situation where Phil didn't want to lay back and let Gus have control of the pot. Fired out that min bet and earned himself an extra 12,000 in doing so. And Gus potentially saved himself from having to call a bet on the turn by putting in the min raise when he did right there on the flop.
Fair enough.
God, you're so cocky, I just can't stand it.
Suited king queen for Phil here.
You get the feeling their friendship is of the love-hate variety, don't you?
10 tray for Gus, and Gus checks.
Flip pot. Here's flop.
And the flop. Oh, and Phil could get even cockier here. He's flopped another heart flush.
Bottom pair and a 10-high flush draw for Gus.
Bet 6,000.
Could be trouble.
Gus bets 6,000.
Ivy raises.
Phil raises to 18,000.
Triples Gus's bet.
Gus is a prohibitive underdog to win this hand.
I got 72 more.
Oh, but he's moving all in.
Gus moves all in.
Call.
Yeah, and you can kind of see it on Gus's face. He was frustrated.
I'm dead.
He's going to need to fill up to win this pot and stay alive.
King, queen of
I
hearts.
flopped 2
Phil
flushes.
flopped
I
it.
held the deck.
I was praying it wasn't the 10 of hearts, but
What? What do you mean?
I was just gonna fold. I'm gonna fold, I mean,
And also back into
You
the
raised me
full house.
18
Does have a
times,
pair.
I mean-
Here's the turn.
what did you have on the 7-5-4 board?
10-7.
Turns an 8 of clubs, and Phil Ivy has defeated Gus Hansen